There's been a big update over at Twitch headquarters, and I see almost nobody talking about it, so let's talk about it. It starts with this guy. Now, there's two things you need to know about this guy. You might not be familiar with him, but it's time to get familiar. This is Emmett Shear, the CEO of Twitch. Now, you can forget about him because he has stepped down as CEO of Twitch, which is kind of a big deal because he has been at Twitch for as long as anybody can be at Twitch because he's one of the first 3 founding members of Justin TV, what it was called before it was fully switched to Twitch. He started in 2007 and he became CEO in 2011 when they made a spin-off of Justin TV for gaming called Twitch TV, which is what you now know today. That's been acquired by Amazon in 2014, and he went through all of that. He went through the acquisition, he went through COVID, and he went through the shit that they've been going through the past year. 16 years. That's a long time. Now, he dropped an entire little goodbye note that basically said, I'm resigning so I can hang out with my kid. And the most important part of this was he talked about the new CEO. Now, before we jump to the new CEO, Emmett Shear, for a long time, has gotten a lot of shit. I've given him a lot of shit. I've given the guy a lot of shit, which makes sense. He runs the company, and it feels like nobody even knows who he is, and he's a bit out of touch, which is fair. But let's back up a moment. When this guy was 24 years old, he founded Justin TV to live stream one of his friends 24/7 that eventually turned into Twitch TV. All right. He got the company through an acquisition, which is a pretty big deal, and dealt with scaling up from what was 3 employees to thousands of employees. Very hard things to do. Now, in business, there are people who are really good at creating businesses, and then there are people who are really good at running scaled up businesses with thousands of employees. I've always felt like Emmett Shear is more of the former than the latter. I feel like ever since StarCraft 2 fell off, he's checked out of any of the things that actually matter in the space, like the just chatting category, which is the largest category for Twitch streamers. And he, at his core, is a StarCraft nerd who's like, there's nothing else for me here. There's nothing. I got nothing. So I think it's a wholly good thing that he has created, and I think it's also a good thing for the company that he is leaving, so somebody else can take the reins. But the question is, the new person actually good? Well, this is the guy. This is Dan Clancy. Now, I'm pulling up this picture of him because, 1, it was on Wikipedia, and 2, this is how he was dressed at TwitchCon. So this is how every single streamer saw him. And to his credit, Dan Clancy was very forward at TwitchCon. I remember having many conversations with streamers who had met him because he was the president of Twitch at the time and had gone up to them to talk to them and see how they're feeling and all that good stuff. He was doing a little schmoozing. You do a little schmoozing every now and again. Now, Dan joined Twitch in 2019, so he's probably credited with growing the site a lot. I don't know how much credit you can give to Dan and how much credit you can give to a novel coronavirus that made everybody get locked into their homes for a couple of years and then make content blow up more than it ever had. But he gets enough credit that now the guy is the goddamn CEO. Before this, he worked at some social network called Neighbor City, Neighborhood. I don't know. I think it's like where a bunch of Karens in a neighborhood yell about someone who's driving down the street that looks a little suspicious because their Toyota Camry's beaten down. Anyway, there's a few people who are maybe rightly concerned with the new CEO, Dan. Specifically, Dan's Gaming, coincidentally, tweeted this out. Twitch's last remaining founder and CEO has stepped down. The person replacing him is the one who wrote this letter last year. Oh, what's the letter? Why not 70-30? Oh, yeah, this is the letter that was originally written September last year about how they were removing 70-30 and they're going to move all streamers to a 50-50 ad split. The decision that made everybody throw up their hands and say, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Why are you fucking the creators? We're the ones who literally make all the content for this website. That was him. Now, I don't know how much you can personally pin it on Dan. I don't know if Dan is someone who's particularly like gung-ho about making money. I assume Dan's the guy brought in by Amazon because Amazon, the corporate overlord that owns Twitch, wants to turn some sort of profitability, and Dan is the no-nonsense bullshit guy who doesn't give a shit about gaming, probably, who's going to enforce all those rules. That's at least how it feels looking from the outside in. But there are also some different accounts about Dan. That same month where he wrote the letter, the chief content officer at Twitch announced her departure the same day, actually. And she worked directly under Dan Clancy. And when the news was announced, she left and said he's out of touch with creators and profit focused, which I think is Twitch's whole MO. And we have to understand at the end of the day, even though I want creators to be supported and I am a goddamn creator, Twitch is a company that is trying to drive a profit. And as much as they can mask as someone who's trying to be your pal, and this is just good old Twitch here trying to create content. No, everyone who's a creator is a commodity. No different than YouTube, although I think they mask it a little better and they make me feel better in calls. Everybody treats the creators like a commodity, and the viewers is like what we are trying to serve to get more ad sales, to make more money, to make profit eventually. All right, that is the goal. That's the eventual goal. They cannot bleed money forever because the money has to come from somewhere. And so I get turning profit, but I think it's been done with very little tact. And I think my biggest issue is not that a company is trying to make profit. I understand that. It's that every single product feature that Twitch has released seems to just be scraping from the already existing amount of viewers and trying to extract more and more and more money. They like even took ways that people used to donate directly to the creators, like tips, and they took it and they said, now you do cheers instead, where they get a cut of that donation. And they have hype trains so that if you start subbing, it's like, oh, now you got to be part of this hype train to keep subbing. They added gifting to insane levels of donations that now people can give through Twitch. All of it, just different ways to extract value from already existing viewers. And my biggest gripe is, why don't you add some fucking viewers? Why don't you make some products so that there's some discoverability on the platform? Why don't we create some sort of system in which people can grow on Twitch natively without having to grow on YouTube or TikTok and then bring their viewers over to Twitch, which is basically like the final money extraction pit. It makes no sense, and it seems too reliant on other websites, and they lucked out with COVID. Otherwise, I feel like they would have had to have switched their strategy about 3 years ago. But now they get away with it. Now they get away with it because they blew up because of COVID, and they don't have to actually make that change. But that change should come. That they can't just keep extracting money from the people already watching. They're already giving so much. The amount of money that an average Twitch viewer pays for their content is way higher than the average YouTube viewer, way higher than the average TikTok viewer, Spotify listener. It's probably more than the average Netflix viewer. Where there are people who are subbed to multiple channels who gift 5, 10 subs every month. That's a lot of money. It's grow the website. Anyway, I digress. This clip, I feel like, is the most poignant example of a streamer meeting Dan Clancy and their impression, leaving it. This is Jake and Bake Live, who just won IRL Streamer of the Year, talking about his meeting with Dan.
Yeah.
It took you a long time.
To be honest, dude, the president of Twitch, I'm sure personally, I have no problem personally with him. But honestly, I don't feel confident as a streamer on the platform with someone who is that out of touch.
Yeah.
What the streamers need and want.
Oh
very.
no.
I walked away feeling like depressed. Seriously, sad.
Because it does feel like the guy in charge was planted by Amazon to drive profit with no true understanding of what's been happening here. And the final point, we'll see. Honestly, Twitch is a big enough and bloated enough company that even the CEO swapping means nothing will change, at least in the short term. And he probably was leading the direction anyway as Twitch, or as Twitch president. So hopefully it doesn't keep down that bad path. I don't know. I'll give the guy a chance as always, but I do have a conspiracy theory that I quickly want to talk about. All right, here's the thing. Susan Wojcicki steps down as CEO. Emmett Shear steps down as CEO. What's going on here? Do they know? Okay, here's my theory. There's deep secret insider information that these CEOs have that a recession's coming really fast, and so all the companies are going to go to shit, and they're trying to step down so they don't get the flack for it, and then they can spend all their hundreds of millions of dollars riding a yacht. Is that true, Susan? Susan, can you text me? I won't leak. I swear I won't leak. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe while you're here. What do you think about Dan Clancy? All right, have a good one. See you later. Goodbye. I hope Twitch. I like Twitch, man. I hope they come on. You got it, guys. This year's your year.